Hello, everybody. Yes, welcome. It is Thursday. It is 9. So, of course, it's UK Cowboys time. How are we doing, fellas?
Meh.
Still salty. Still salty.
Come on.
It's going to take a while.
Yeah, it is, of course. This is group therapy, and it's the big heel. So collectively, we all let it all out, and then we can begin the process of the rest of the off season. Yes, though, guys. Yeah, of course, it is season 3, episode 39, 169 in total. Beginning the off season program, so we're going to be switching the show over to the draft show, which starts next week. And we do have some special guests lined up. One very special guest who probably will know more about scouting than the collective of the entire UK. So that will be a lot of fun. But basically, this show, we started and we did it last year. You take over the show. Your questions, your comments about the entire season. We'll rant about it. We'll talk about it. The good, the bad, the ugly. And let things go. But hit me with it, Paul Stewart.
I was going to say, is like, if you're watching VIA from Twitter, be sure to, if you want to leave any comments, jump into our Facebook stream or jump onto our YouTube channel and subscribe and add your comments through that. Because obviously right now, Twitter is just kind of not allowing comments coming through to the show. So be sure, if you want to get your comments in, go through YouTube or go through Facebook.
We can read them. They just don't automatically reel in for whatever reason. But here's one for you, right, guys? I thought I'd kick things off while people get involved and give them time to join the show. I'll ask you guys the question. For you guys, who was, for the entire season, your biggest disappointment? Doesn't necessarily have to be due to performance. It could be anything. What was just the very thing, the player that disappointed you the most?
It's not a player for me. It's a coach.
Yep.
And I think you know who I'm talking about. Mr. Kellen Moore. I think Lawrence frozen there.
Oh,
yeah,
no, he's smiling. He's smiling now. That's the main thing.
That's trying a screenshot, to be honest.
But look, I think what it is with Kellen and his play calling was the playbook itself. When you look at the playbook in its entirety, it's not a bad playbook. He's got great plays in there. The problem I have with it, and it's something I mentioned a couple of weeks back, is that it's the sequencing. It's his play calling that when you call a play, it needs to have a purpose. And you don't set a defense up and then switch it back. And you think, and you scratch your head trying to figure that out. Like, why are you going away from that? Or why are you doing that? And do you know what he reminds me of? He reminds me so much of Jason Garrett, but the reverse of.
Well, I definitely think.
Do you see what I mean? Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
The Jason Garrett resemblance, I can completely get it. But when it comes to I don't know what it is. Like, it just seems like defenses knew what Kellen was doing throughout the whole time. Like, quite a lot of the situation that unless Dak would check and do a different play, that seemed to be the only time really we would get away from things. And as much as people might want to hit on Dak, but Dak still is pretty much a savior in this scenario, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's despite, like, we can go all different aspects about what happened wrong with our offense, from our offensive line being in tatters, especially in the interior side, from left guard to center.
The left, most certainly, yeah.
Yeah, so there's that. There's also the now apparent injury to Zeke, which happened from the Carolina game from onwards. Which, if that's the case, why didn't we play Pollard more, give him more snaps, and let Zeke rest up? Like,
well, Pollard had his issues too. Don't forget. Pollard went through the back end of the season because people were saying, why weren't people giving Tony Pollard more plays? Well, don't forget, Tony Pollard had injuries. He was nursing a foot injury for the best half of the back half of the season.
Yeah.
And here's one, right, Paul? Remember this. Remember last off-season?
Sorry. I need to bring this
I seen it.
Thank you, Marcus. Love you, my
Yeah.
man. I love you. Love you, mate. Love you, my man.
And do you know what's mental is, did you see who the loser of the league was? Flag Runner Cruz.
Was he not like in the final last year?
He was in the fight, but this year he came last. He got the dog poo trophy.
Oh, that's right. The dog poo trophy. I love that. I love that about Sleeper app.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
But here's one for you, right? Going back to Callum Moore's play calling. If you remember, during last year, during the draft show, we talked about Kyle Pitts, and you were a bit confused about one of the negatives I put on Kyle Pitts was his athletic versatility, and you was just like, "How's that a negative?" And I was like, "Well, because if a coach has got so many tools to work with one player, it's quite hard to utilize him in a particular way." Right? Now, think of the Dallas offense. There's so many weapons there. What if that offense is too versatile? What if the offense is too versatile for someone like Kellen Moore, who's new to the offensive play calling job, if you like, that there's too much for him to be able to handle?
Graham, you want to answer that one?
There's too many weapons. Like, think of Green Bay. Here we are, Gray. You're here. Think of Green Bay. Who has Green Bay got? Who are their main guys? It's Aaron Jones and Devontae Adams. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And obviously, yes, Aaron Rodgers. But I mean, in terms of getting the ball out, that's it. And here they are, top of the NFC.
Like, regular listeners to the show will know that my dad's a Packers fan. And we regularly watch the Packers and the Cowboys on Sunday nights when the schedule aligns. And it's a great point, Mike, because I'll be perfectly honest, it's frustrating. It's frustrating. They've got two main weapons, and they've got a handful of guys that just seem to get the job done. They don't have any stars on the offensive line.
Yeah.
There's to my knowledge, there are no first round picks on the offensive line. I think Aaron Rodgers is hugely underrated, to be perfectly honest. I think the offense runs through him.
Wasn't David Bakhtiari a first round, or was he a second round?
I couldn't tell.
Bakhtiari, yeah, he might have been a first.
I'm sure David Bakhtiari's the first round. I'll look it up, guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like double team Devontae Adams. You're gonna double Adams. Doesn't make any difference.
Yeah. Look at the Patriots. Look at Patriots with Brady. Yeah. What? There we go. Brady. Who did he really have? It was Gronk.
Yep.
You couldn't say. He had Julian Edelman, but Edelman didn't really score. He didn't really score many touchdowns during the regular season. He was great in the postseason. But if you think about it, that's really, and like, offense is it's KISS. Keep it simple. The simpler you can keep it, I think. Obviously, you add more elements like the Cowboys have. Two good running backs, Dalton Schultz, Blake Jarwin. That's your 12-man formation sorted. Three great wide receivers. Want to include Cedric Wilson. He's got obviously parts of his game. He's got warts to his game that he needs, but throw him into the mix. I just think, is there too much versatility in that offense for somebody like Kellen to be able to put it all together? There's just too much.
Here's you just made a kind of interesting point now. Now my mind's just went to shit there. Sorry.
Right, I was talking about Gronk, talking about versatility, wide receivers.
It was the bit after that. Fuck. Oh my god. I'm sorry.
Yes! The train is gone. The train is gone.
This is how frustrated I am about this. No, I remember now. Like
You got it. It's back again. It's back again.
Right. It's all to do with Kellen Moore, right? And it seems to me that. Oh no, never mind. Never mind. Just forget what I just fucking said.
Go for it, baby. Go for it.
I can't remember. My heat's mushed.
Well, Paul tries to get it back. I mean, I find it.
There's the answer there. Stop drinking, Paul. I admit it, Lloyd. I admit it.
I find it quite strange that.
I think that's what following the Cowboys does to you. It makes you drink.
We're dissecting Kellen Moore, but how many interviews has he been on in the past week? You know, like
true.
teams want to interview him for the head coaching job, whereas we're criticizing him as a coordinator. You know, I wonder if you gave half the coordinators in this league his talent, his range of talent. So you've got at least 2 number 1 receivers. You've got a very, very good third, if not second. You've got a stud running back, a replacement, 3 first-round talents across that offensive line, and Dak Prescott. I wonder how the better half of coordinators in this league would have done.
Yep.
I'm just trying to remember how many first rounders do we actually have in our offense? We've got Zeke, we've got Tyron Smith,
Zach Martin,
CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper. Is that 5 we've got?
6.
Yep.
6, I think it is.
Who's the 6?
Zach and Tyron, Zeke, Amari, CD.
No, I'm counting. Counting.
And obviously, Amari, although he wasn't a first round pick for us, we gave up a first round.
Well, you
could say him in the first.
You could say Lyle, but he wasn't really a first rounder.
Yeah.
Technically.
Yeah.
He had that nasty jumping out of the window incident with what was his name? Never mind, we won't go there. But here we are. Here's a good question that we can lead on to, because it is the fan rant and it's about everyone's questions. Let's bring up this one. So we've got 2 good running backs, yet we couldn't run well. Where's the problem? And we spoke about this in our group chat.
Offensive line.
Offensive line.
Without a single doubt, offensive line. Your interior offensive line.
It's one man in particular, Connor Williams. That's your problem right there.
I would say that Biadish hasn't covered himself in glory either.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, I would say that we was talking about this, during the week. I find it weird the way they've put that offensive line together. That you've got, it's almost like they haven't decided what they want their offensive line to be. Is it a zone blocking scheme, or are they going for gap power? Pick one and go for it. It just seems to be that Kellen hasn't decided which way he wants to go.
I find it a lot. Sorry. On you go, Lauren. On you go, mate.
No, go on. I mean, there's a multitude of problems with the offensive line. Number one, I don't think they've had the same aggression, and I said this a couple of weeks ago, since Mark Colombo left.
Yes.
A couple of years ago.
Yeah.
We haven't had that same aggression. The years that we've gone to the playoffs, the offensive line tends to be good. And then the reason why we haven't gone to the playoffs the next year, the offensive line has gone down somewhat, or they've changed the coaches. I mean, bringing in the Paul Alexander guy that Cincinnati Bengals had, that obviously didn't last very long. And, we had issues with that. Everybody's raving about Joe Philbin, being able to get Terrence Steele up to speed last year, the job that he did with that.
I don't know. Sorry, Lloyd, I don't know about that, but I would take more credit to his off-season coach, whether he went to
Duke Manyweather.
Yeah, like because there's off-season programs. There's the OLP training facility. It was designed for offensive linemen. I can't remember the offensive lineman, but he played for the Saints years and years ago. Yeah. And he dedicates a whole training facility. The same goes for, like you just said, the gentleman that you just mentioned there. Like, it was a Duke. What was his name? Sorry. Oh, Soon be back out, man.
No,
Oh,
no, I like that. Go on,
No,
get
I
in
hate
there.
I hate it. No, never have. No, what was his name again? Sorry, Lloyd. Is he frozen up again? Yeah, he has.
Lawn.
Yeah, he has.
Oh.
Yeah. Well,
The
anyway.
interweb is struggling tonight.
Yeah.
Just like our
no.
offense.
He's back. He's
there
back.
he is.
He's moving.
I'm back.
His life.
Again,
what
just like our offense.
Duke Manyweather. Is that his name is?
Oh,
Duke Manyweather, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
Big-
he's got.
Big
I
Duke
would say
15.
I would say he deserves all the credit for tearing steel, like because
Yep.
only the O-line coach can actually help you in terms of passing like your assignment scheme in terms of what the playbook is pretty much and correct your mistakes essentially. But in terms of your strength and conditioning, your technique, that's all from the actual strength and conditioning coaches to etc. They all deserve more credit for what Terrence Steele is definitely produced this year. Like he is, like from our expectations to Terrence Steele, we would never wanted him to be in the starting lineup. Let's be honest, we never did. But when he did come in, he did a hell of a great job.
It's
Yeah.
true. Yeah, and you know, it's a weird one with the offensive line because they started off quite well, and do you know where it went wrong? I think
Connor Williams.
It was obviously they were parts before that were bad, but the Broncos game, it seems to break them. That was the game where because what was funny is the week before we played Minnesota, if you remember, and we didn't have Dak, and I was just like, wow, this team just did it without Dak. So here we go. There's fire brewing in this. And then we go out to Denver and that happens. And it seemed to be from then onwards is where the offense seemed to fall apart. And I think Kellen just couldn't, when you look at it, the way his play calling was so disjointed throughout a game, there were a lot of odd calls. Like everything needs to have a purpose. Like you play, you call the play, it needs a purpose. So it's weird that as soon as we went and played Denver, it seemed to be that everything fell apart, even in the run game.
Yeah,
I mean, we've heard in the past week that Zeke was dealing with it. Was that PCL?
PCL.
Terry was dealing with.
Yeah.
I mean, you could almost suggest that something happened injury-wise after the Denver game.
Could be.
You know, like
psychologically.
I fully expected, you know, if Connor Williams had come out and said, yeah, I was dealing with a chipped bone in my leg or in my knee or something was torn in my knee or this, that, or the other, you could go, well, okay, maybe that's why you've played so badly, but nothing's come out yet. It's
that's the thing. That's the thing, though, Graham. It's like if they said it so early on, then we wouldn't be so harsh on them. But because they've now announced that after the season's now over, you're like, well, why didn't you tell us bloody sooner? It's like now we're criticizing why Zeke hasn't produced he has produced to a certain extent, like. And I know Valenti's here chatting away, and I saw one of the comments says he wants to trade Zeke, and I'm sorry, mate, I have to disagree with you on that one.
You can't anyway.
We can't.
He's untradeable. He's untradeable at this stage.
Like no one will take this contract regardless. And if there's one person you want to moan at about that, then it's Jerry Jones at Valenti. But what I will say is. And it kind of goes back to my main point when we kind of first started. It's like if Zeke was if he was injured dealing that, and if they just be more transparent with the public, with the fans, what is going on, we would probably get a better understanding and not have this pure boiler pressure on our expectations so high.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Because it seems to be if Zeke's still in the game, it still increases our expectations. Saying, "Oh, we want to see it to get 100 yards." Yeah, but he's pretty much got one leg, pretty much. I mean, come on, you know. So, that's what annoys me. That's what annoys me.
Here's one for you. Andrew says, "When did Zeke play well this season?" A good example of how they were using Zeke and when he played well. I know this is going to sound a bit weird to say. In the last game, He literally saved Dak from hitting the dirt. He blocked 2 players in 1 play.
Zeke was our
That's
best.
saving Dak an injury.
Zeke was pretty much our best offensive lineman in that game, but he wasn't playing
Yeah,
offensive line. Like, but that's the whole part of being a running back as well. It's like it's not so much just rushing the ball; it's also giving that extra coverage of cover for your quarterback to make plays.
Yeah,
I'd love to be a fly in the wall in the offensive meeting room, because Zeke must go off on a regular occurrence this season. Like him having to do so much blitz pickup, it's unbelievable. He should.
Yeah.
You don't pay somebody $15-16 million to pick up blitzes. You pay
exactly.
him to go and get 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns. He's doing somebody else's job.
Yeah, and just to follow up on Valenti Senior, his job is to run. I'll bring up the comment. Yes, I agree.
Yes and no.
Yes and no. Like his main, he's to run the ball. But
put it this way: the reason Tony Pollard? Go on. Sorry.
But if the play call is to be is for him to be a pass protector, that's not on Zeke. That's on Kellen Moore. You know.
But also, like what I was going to say to my point is, people are saying, "Oh, give the job to Tony Pollard." What we're arguing about here is with Zeke's pass protection. The very reason Tony Pollard is not a starting running back is he cannot block. He cannot pass protect. That's why Tony gets so few snaps. And if he came along this offseason and could start blocking, then you'll see a role reversal.
Yeah.
We all know what happens.
That's what they need to do. They need to sit down with him this year and say, right, work on your pass protection skills so that you can become that complete back, and then we can start focusing more on using you as well. Because teams know that when Pollard's in and Zeke's out,
it's one-dimensional.
But I think the problem as well. Is Kellen Moore came from Boise State. Boise State traditionally are a passing first offense.
They are very much.
So he's not used to run. He's not used to having a rush offense, and I think that's been reiterated. I mean, you go back into when Kellen Moore was playing in the NFL. He was at Detroit with Linehan. Linehan was typically a pass first offense there. He then came. Was brought across to Dallas here under Jason Garrett. Jason Garrett forced Linehan to be more running the ball. But even so, we never really truly delineated away from the pass under Linehan. And then Kellen Moore got his hands on it, and slowly and surely we've gone away from the run. And this year, I don't know how many, Kellen can actually say, oh yeah, we did call run plays, like he said in the Tampa game where we called 26 run plays or something, and Dak had just checked out of them because of what he'd seen at the line. There's maybe you need to have something where you can actually override Dak on those calls, so that because we need to establish the run to set up everything else.
Yeah, and that's the thing. The way this offense, when you look at how it's built, it's actually built for the run to set up the pass, where Kellen's trying to do it the other way. But you kind of lost connection with us when we were talking. I was saying it's quite ironic that Kellen Moore's play, the style of his play calling, is almost like a reverse of what Jason Garrett was doing. That Jason Garrett only really ever did 4 things on offense. Kellen Moore exactly the same. Because remember, like, with the Jason Garrett era, when he used to play a pass, and think about this season. Think about with Jason Garrett, the screen passes, the bubble screens, the jet sweeps. Where have they gone? Did you see one this year?
Nope. Well, you saw them, but invariably
maybe a couple of with CD Lamb coming across.
Or you saw Dalton Schultz getting blown up on it or whiffing on his block, and
the only time we ever. Yeah. The only ever time we ever seemed to do it would be a trick play, and then Cedric Wilson be throwing the ball.
Like here's what we have seen: jet sweeps to CD at one point, and I think Brian just talked. I
was exaggerating slightly. They were a couple.
But what I was going to say is, it's like when you're kind of mentioning about the whole polar opposite between Moore and Garrett, just for people's perspective, think of it this way: Jason Garrett was run, pass. If it was third down, just to try and make that extra bit. Whereas Kellen Moore, it's pass, run. If you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Like,
no, it is. It's the polar opposite of each other.
Yeah, and that's why we're seeing lesser production from our running backs, regardless. But yet we still, like, you could probably debunk it because it's 17 games a season, but still, because even with lesser carries, we still managed to get 13 touchdowns and 1,000 yards from Zeke, and not to mention the stats from Tony Pollard this year. So, if anything, all things considered, with a diminished run game, we've actually still been okay. Like, when you put it in perspective, it may not look pretty, like when you're watching it live on the game.
Yeah, but I just want to use Brian's comment here and get your guys' opinions here about Linehan, that he's no longer in the league, never adapted. Do you think if we keep Kellen Moore, he's got to look internally within and adapt his game? Because he's learning, he's an apprentice here at this point, and he's learning on the job. So do you think he needs to adapt? And if he does, what does he need to do?
We're going to have to do something.
Something is a good start, yeah.
Yeah, that's the only one I can really think of is something, like, because we can't go the rate that we're going right now. Whatever Kellen did, like, and this is what annoys me the most about Kellen. Right, there was some games that it just worked for us. It really and this is no slight go at any other teams and stuff. Well, because it's the Eagles, but still, and there's the Falcons. Like, our playbook worked against them because how their defense worked, and they obviously didn't do their homework on us. But when it came to a more higher quality side, especially Arizona knew exactly what Kellen Moore was doing every single play. And you could probably blame Kellen for not doing too much research on their defense or whatever and that. But the matter of fact is, it's like they had our number pretty much throughout that whole game. So
Denver is really, for me, where it started to go wrong.
Yeah,
and I don't know if maybe perhaps it's a psychological thing, because I can't speak about that because you're not in the locker rooms and in those conversations, so you don't know. But I just wonder if perhaps Denver psychologically made something snap in them that, these 4 things that we keep trying on offense aren't always working anymore. What do we do? And it's like as if Kellen Moore in his playbook, he's run out of ammo, and the guys out on the field are just going, so what are we doing?
Actually, so here was one of the things I kept talking about is Kellen Moore actually holding back on some of the plays, saving it for the playoffs. Well, that's completely debunked my theory.
Yeah.
Like I genuinely had it in my freaking mind that Kellen Moore had, like, literally, what was the coach for the Water Boy? He had those wee playbooks that were right on the door.
Yeah, his little green book.
His wee green book. I literally thought that was going to freaking happen, but no, it's like, you know what I mean? It's like, come on, man. It's like, I don't know.
No, I'm with you. I know where you're going. Yeah, I know where you're going. Kind of like what Georgia did to Alabama. That they stink up one game so that they can win the bigger one. But guys at home, just so you know, send in your comments. Give us your rants. It is the group therapy. It's a group therapy show. Ready? So next week we can begin the draft series. So just so you know, I'm up to 400 players. So I'm hoping to double that by next week. I will send you a copy, mine, Paul. I was meant to send you last year's one. I never did.
Yeah. I think Graham got that reference there.
No, I got you. I
mean, what do you guys make of this being Moore's first winning season as coordinator?
See, that's the weird thing. It's like, even though we had a winning record, it just doesn't feel like it's been a winning record.
And I tell you why. It's because of how stacked the roster is. That this roster was so talented. Like you could say he was more talented than the 2016 roster that made a deep run in the playoffs. And when you look at what's coming ahead, like so next year or next season and the seasons after, there are a lot of question marks because there's a lot of free agents going out the door. There's players where you wonder how they're going to develop, like Chauncey Golston is a good example. Like how are they going to progress?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Like it's a tough one on Kellen Moore. I mean, see if you were to say to me that Moore takes a head coaching job tomorrow, I'll be honest, I don't know how I would feel about it. I wouldn't be up or down.
Yeah,
to be perfectly honest.
I'm with you.
Yeah. If anything, if Moore was to go to a head coaching role, at least we could try and find an offensive coordinator that might actually complement Dak to his strengths, and like it just feels as though we weren't playing to our strengths to a certain extent. Like we tried to do it, but at the same time, there was a lot of disconnection within the players. I felt.
I don't know. It was just more the flow. And here's one. They when you look at the passes Dak has to make in the Kellen Moore playbook, if you like, none of those are easy passes he's been asked to make. Like, look at the Aaron Rodgers again. We'll go back to that, to Devontae Adams. What's the idea of their play? Just the idea of the play is give Adams the ball. So Aaron Rodgers takes the ball and he goes, where's Adam? There he is. I'll throw it to him. Doesn't matter if he's short, middle, or deep, but they'll do that consistently. And it just seems to be that there are times when they'll go, right, let's just give Aaron Rodgers an easy pass and get the game flowing, get the ball moving. And it doesn't seem to be in this offense, there's that easy option for Dak. It's not like, we'll give Dak this easy pass. It always seems to be tight window throws or in hard gaps, or he's got to make particular arm angles to make the ball get there. And it just seems really weird. He's just like, give him an easy pass. We'll see it on there that he will get a play to an easy pass, but he's gone through his reads. He's gone through his progressions to get to that point. That wasn't his hot read.
Yeah. I don't know about you guys. Like, we keep talking about how talented the team we do have, right? And
it was
like, personally, I still believe in that. I do believe in him, right?
Yeah.
But here's the thing: do you think with all the talent that we've got, and this is more to do on us as fans more than anything, do we put too much pressure on ourselves of expectations? I think we do.
But that's called being a fan.
That's true, though. Yeah, you're right. But it seems to be like if we're doing well, everyone's up and irate. But we do really, really bad, it's like our quarterback's trash. Blah blah blah. Like I remember, like everyone would slate Tony Romo. I don't know. I was trying to ask Lauren ask the question. I was going to say Lauren would probably remember more Troy Aikman getting absolutely bashed left, right, and center by media, especially during the '89 season and stuff like that during his rookie year. Like it's like he's not the quarterback that we ever wanted. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, but I mean, I don't know, Lloyd. Like here. 45 million now will probably be absolute pennies not cents or whatever in the next couple of years. You know what I mean? The way how everything's going up in price. Like that, like remember when everyone went ape shit? Sorry, excuse my French here. When Tony Romo signed the $60 million contract. Remember when everyone lost their mind over that?
Mm-hmm.
But I had no problem with it. But because
there are 3 quarterbacks in recent history where I thought absolutely no chance does he deserve to be the highest paid player in league history. Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
Right? The guy we played on Sunday.
Yeah.
Absolutely no chance. And Derek Carr.
Yep.
In recent history, the 3 of them have been the highest paid quarterback in the league, highest paid player in the league. Whether the best player in the league, not a chance, not even anywhere near it. But it was just their time and their opportunity. I mean, think what was his name? Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco won the Super Bowl, became the highest paid, and did nothing since.
It's not even on a roster.
It's as simple as that.
Is he not in the Jets?
He might be as a backup. No, he was when he at the Jets, but a backup.
But this is my point, though. He won the Super Bowl in a contract year. So do you really get rid of the guy that's just won the Super Bowl? Of course you don't. So they paid him. And he did nothing after that. He did absolutely nothing. Why? Because he was gobbling up all of their salary cap, and they had to let people go. They had to let folk walk to pay him.
Wasn't who was his name? Steve Smith wasn't one of them, wasn't he?
Went to Carolina.
Yeah. Well, went back to Carolina, did they not? For one season. Like it was
from the Ravens, yeah.
Yeah.
But a quarterback can't win the league on his own.
No. You'll make your roster better. Like we was talking now about, the next couple of years, how I see it, depending on how players develop, because that's always the question mark that we don't know. But looking at the roster as it is, I think the only thing that stops us going 8-8 or worse is Dak. He's going to keep you afloat. And Dak has never had a season worse than 8-8 in his career.
Yeah.
And when you think of some of those rosters that we've had, especially on defense.
Yeah, when you do really think about it, the 4-12s that we had under Romo, what was the 4-12 under? What's his name? Matt Castle.
Yeah.
That was a disaster.
That was a fun season.
Yeah, that was not a fun time being a Cowboys fan when your starting quarterback was Brandon. Like you had Brandon Beeden and you had Matt Castle. That just said it all that year. What was that year? That was 2015.
I was going to say,
Right. You had Joseph Randall as well because you got rid of
DeMarco Murray.
DeMarco Murray, yeah.
Yeah, and he went to the Eagles. Look what happened there.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
I've got his jersey framed.
And that's what happens when you don't have a good O-line. When the Eagles O-line back over there weren't so good, he did absolutely jack shit. Sorry, French. Sorry.
Oh, that was also Chip Kelly as well with his.
Oh man, remember that one? Old Chick Jelly. Wow.
Chip Kelly, bring him back to Philadelphia, man. He was hilarious.
I bet right now he is pantsing it over in UCLA now. He's like, crap.
I saw. Just go back to Kellen Moore for a minute. Did anybody see the graphic that came up? I think Adam Schefter retweeted it. You really can't tell from your coordinators whether they're going to make good head coaches or not. And the perfect example is the 2013 Washington team. I'll just read out the list. For anybody that doesn't know, I'll just read out the list lately. You might have heard of some of these guys. Offensive coordinator Kyle Shanahan. Quarterbacks coach Matt LaFleur. Tight ends coach Sean McVay. Anybody heard of them?
Oh my God.
But it just goes to show you don't know until you know. Until you know.
Yeah.
So Moore could take a job at the end of the week and go on and win 3 Super Bowls. He could take a job at the end of the week, have a Dan Quinn season and get sacked. Who knows? And let's not forget, Dan Quinn got sacked a year and 2 weeks ago today.
Yeah, that's true.
He was sacked as the head coach.
It was middle of the season. He didn't even get.
Call it 14 months. Sacked 14 months ago. And people are lining up like Skittles to talk to him again. It's a merry-go-round.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah. And to Lloyd's point here, I mean, there were plenty of plays where Lamb was open. I'm not saying Dak had a great game, and he is, we can absolve him of blame. But I mean, at the same time, you've got to think, well, why wasn't he making those throws? And he wasn't making those throws purely because he's not got a chance to have it, because you don't know who that hot read is on that play. If it's not Lamb and he's not getting a chance to get through his progressions, then he's never going to get to see him. So
what I
it's a
would
tricky one.
say
Go on,
about
Lord.
that is that there does seem to be a sort of with our passing game,
Mhm.
it never is the sort of dink and dunk to set everything else up. It is always a sort of try and get the big splash play, 25 yards down the field, 30 yards down the field. I mean, how many? Great. The Amari Cooper touchdown that we had on Sunday there was great, but you look at the throw to Cedric Wilson that he ultimately dropped on that second penultimate drive there.
Mhm.
It's all sort of trying to get this long ball going. I mean, we're almost sort of going back to the 1970s Raiders Mad Bomber style offense, where we probably should have taken the 49ers were given by playing cover 3, cover 4. They were basically playing 8 to 12 yards off, and we should have been playing that and running. The 49ers were almost saying, well, you won't be able to go 15 plays down the field to score against us. But these long passes require our offensive line to hold up for a long time, and that's where we're then committing the penalties, because you're asking Connor Williams, and just about everybody was guilty of it again on Sunday. There, Tyron got a call, Lyell got a call. You're asking them to hold up for 4 or 5 seconds longer than it would be if it was just a
Oh,
he's gone again. But to Lauren's point, I think what he's basically saying is, for a pass over 20 yards, your quarterback needs at least 5 seconds to get rid of the ball.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen. It simply does not happen.
Just to bring up Christopher's point here, and he's absolutely spot on. How many times did that 49ers defense, especially the front seven, just try to come after that, get him outside the pocket?
Well, do you want to know a fact? Do you know how many times they blitzed against our O-line? You'd be shocked.
Once on that.
They
on
blitzed
the cover 0
once.
Because they didn't have to.
How crazy? No, they just did not respect our O-line. They just weren't threatened by it, so they just went.
It's not just
our 4 will beat your 6.
It's not just the 49ers. Go down the list.
No.
Vikings
and
Bucks.
The real scary one was that we gave up 4 sacks after Bosa got knocked out.
Oh, shocking.
Yeah.
Absolutely
it seemed to get worse once Bosa was out. Yeah, and as well as that, there was also I'm trying to remember. He got 5 sacks, and there were 4 big game changing plays that got called back because of penalties.
Yep,
4 of them, and those, when they get called back, that changes your game.
No, Joe, sorry, he's been in the league for 5 years, but yes, in a way, we do have to give him some fault. Yes.
Yeah, I say, he's not absolved of blame.
Yeah, but he's been in the league for 5 years, my friend. Sorry. Sorry, I'm being a correction monger here.
Yeah, but I mean, we had a comment here that
sorry, on your mate.
He did use his legs.
He did.
He was running for his life for most parts of the game.
Exactly. Trying to run away for his life, aye.
Does anyone remember what happened when Dak used his legs in New York last year?
Yeah.
Anyone remember that one?
I think that's the thing, though. I mean, if you look at Alex Smith when he came back last year after
nobody played well.
No one did.
It takes you a year to get back and have a healthy season to actually get your instincts back. I reckon we probably will see Dak run the ball more next year. Now that he's got the comfort level.
Yeah, run play options like quarterback runs.
RPO.
Yeah.
RPO. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I've seen a lot of get rid of Dak, get rid of Zeke, get rid of, and you literally cannot do that, because if you cut somebody, you have to pay their entire guaranteed salary in that season. So you literally can't do it with everybody.
Yep.
And there's the cap hit as well for doing that as well.
Yeah. The dead money.
Yeah, all the dead money. We can't do it. Like as much people might hate that, might hate Zeke, they're here to stay. Like it or lump it, we're just going to have to deal with it. And that's
And when you stop and you think about it, there's teams with a lot worse quarterback and running backs in this league. So if you go back and you look, and I mentioned this before, look at the NFC in terms of running backs. Zeke was second. Only Dalvin Cook had more yards and touchdowns.
Yeah.
So look at it that way. And you can say like, oh, we're never winning a Super Bowl with Dak. Okay. Go tell Nick Foles that. Go tell Jimmy G, who we just played, when he was in a Super Bowl.
Try to tell Trent Dilfer that same question.
There's another one. You just mentioned Flacco. Go tell him that you can't, you're not going to get to a Super. It's not just about one guy. It's roster construction.
I've just on the quick sum. Does anybody want to hazard a guess how much over the cap we would be if we cut Dak and Zeke?
Oh God,
it would be astronomical.
I think it'll be roughly about the 40 to 50 million mark.
It's going to be more than that.
Lauren?
Oh, it'll be about 65, I think.
Mike?
I think it's going to be more closer to 90.
If we were to cut Dak and Zeke tomorrow, it would be $68.8 million.
Okay. I was way off.
Over the cap, and that's before we've signed any safeties.
Here we go. We're getting draft already.
Or Randy Gregory.
So in the draft, here's two things, right? By the way, just so you know, we are doing a draft show again this year. It's not 24 hours though,
Thank
but
God.
we will. It's not a 24-hour draft show, but we are covering all 3 days as the draft happens.
Yeah.
The advert, as we did last year, we got a fresh one coming through, so that's going to be fun. But I say, right, here's one. I think we're all in agreement. First round inside offensive lineman.
Yep. Yeah, it has to be. It has to be. Like we're talking about. Like I know Valenti made the comment saying we should be going for a center, but I think is it Linderbaum? Is that I think he'll be gone way too soon. I think.
Oh yeah.
Like there's no chance we'll get him. So if there's a worthy inside like offensive lineman on the guard position, yeah, take him if he's worth if we think he's worth within pick 24. Yeah, go ahead and pick him. But if he's not, and we think we could get better for value, what we've done in the past for getting Jabril Cox and stuff like that, then so be like go back to the second round, get me a picks, try and get more offensive men for your buck. You know what I mean?
Here we go. Here's one for you, and I disagree. I think the offensive linemen and the tackles, the talent gap in the first round of what's there is pretty good. But the talent gap after that, the shelf, it drops off quick. Like, you got your likes of Aggies, Kenyon Green. Perfect example of a guy that you can get there. But here's one for you. Because
let's just use throwing your A&M.
I'm telling you, he will go in the first round, mind.
Well, is that not
Dane Brugler has said we should draft him.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I will take anything that Dane Brugler says because that guy is an absolute guru.
He did his first mock, and the Cowboys took Kenyon Green.
You've got a wee counter argument here from Chris.
But it does have to be. It does have to be, I think, a first round inside offensive lineman. I know that goes against the grain, but this year the inside guys, there's a deep class in there, and they're talented as well. But here's one for you: would you guys be opposed?
Sorry, Mike. I think what we should mention that, like, within reason.
Yeah.
Like, so long as we're not stretching for somebody, for instance, like basically, I think we all agree, but I think we're all basically not. We're all taking it as implied that we're not going to take somebody. We're not going to take a second round talent in the first day just because he's interior. Basically, is what we're saying. Like, hopefully they don't stretch, but I think that's taken as read.
But then they stretched for Travis Frederick and they stretched for Zach Martin. They were both. They both shocked us.
That's a fair point, because what was the grade that Travis Federer was given? He was given like a
Third
third round, third
Mike
round,
me
fourth
up.
round.
Mike Mayock, who was sacked by the Raiders.
Yeah, I was going to
That's-
say.
Mike Mayock
That draft guru guy.
he had a third round grade on.
Yeah. Says the guy says we're going to draft Johnny Manziel.
Yeah.
Well, if Kerry
so there's that.
had got his way, we would have.
That is true. But here's one for you, right, guys? Because we were talking about it and trying to get. So we'll work on the offensive line in this draft. But would you guys be opposed to drafting, maybe not completely early, so maybe we're talking third, fourth round, a running back?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It was discussed on the pods yesterday, I think it was, that we should be turning over the running backs. You're talking that next year, Pollard's in his contract year next year,
which is why I was saying it. Yeah.
We don't have a big back other than Shiwu Alonalua, and hopefully you don't know how he's going to come back from a neck injury.
Yeah, and running back position.
Yeah.
We all know how they go with neck injuries and running backs, but sorry, Lon, carry on.
Yeah, no, the rest of the guys that we've had feature this year, Ito Smith, Jaquan Hardy, they're all small guys. We need that. You need another big back so that if anything does happen to Zeke, you've got somebody who can pound the rock between the tackles, and still allow Pollard to do the nice slashing moves to the outside. You still need this sort of thunder and lightning, and then you even just use him as a fullback as well. If you're not going to have Connor McGovern, who knows? Connor McGovern may step up with another year's training. He may actually step into the offensive line and be functional this year. Who knows?
Yeah.
I know I'm not on comments tonight, but I need to bring this one up from Brian. He knows I would bite on this comment. Brian, you're wetting my whistle with that one.
You'd want to say something else there, Graham?
Yeah. Does it rhyme with silly?
He knows I like the big-bodied, big uglies.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I think that's something that we are definitely missing in that one side of the ball, like in the center and the left guard position, is that big, nasty, like
just general aggression.
Yeah.
We've
got Zach Martin, all pro, been to the Pro Bowl like since he's like nearly every year. But he has been to the Pro Bowl every year since he's been drafted. Like, there's a reason why these are. It's because he's consistent, he's aggressive, and he's the only one that really pretty much gives a crap. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Right. But when you've got it on the other side of the ball, it's like we've got it's a broken chain that we've got. Like that's how I tend to see how our O-line is. Like your O-line is like a chain. You've got all your links, how they all connect to each other, and and if you try and snap it, you're not going to break it. But if one of those links are kinked a little bit, you've got a weakness point, and that's what it's like. So
it was no when
secret.
you watched it. Yeah, it was not. You watch every team when they came in attack the left, and that even included Tyrone Smith, who's getting long in the tooth.
Yeah,
that's why the Rams cling on to
Andrew Whitworth,
to Donald, to Aaron Donald. See Aaron Donald. If you cannot keep Aaron Donald from getting through the interior of your offensive line, it's going to tear apart your entire offense.
I thought you would want to go
left and right. That's why it's so important, because if you can't block that, it's a direct route to the running back, to the quarterback. It's impossible to deal with. That is why it's so crucially important. And we're talking about guys. We're talking about Biadish and Williams. I mean, can you imagine Aaron Donald against that?
Well, it looked promising. It looked promising in the off-season practice, the scrimmage.
Yeah,
it looked promising, but since then, it's just never been lived up to expectations. Connor Williams has never lived up to expectations for being.
But ironically, here's a funny thing: is you were talking about Aaron Donald. It seems to be Aaron Donald's kryptonite was Connor Williams.
Yeah, I know that's the
Which
weirdest
makes
thing.
no sense.
But sorry, Greg, but see when you were talking about like the Rams, I thought you were going to go on and talk about like Andrew Whitworth for the Rams, like the
Yeah,
left
who made it like 37 years old or whatever he was.
No, he's 40. Is he not 40?
Was he 40?
Yeah, he's the.
Wow.
I think he's the oldest ever offensive lineman still playing.
Is he not
active football.
retired though? He's retired now.
No, he's still
pretty soon.
playing. He's still playing. Like, I am certain of it. I'm pretty sure he's still playing now.
I could have sworn he retired.
I thought
But-
last
but-
year
but-
was his last year, but
Yeah, certain of it.
Wait, hold on a minute. I'll tell you right now. No, he's still active. He's still there. He's still playing. But my point is, it's like when a guy's 40 and he's still playing to what he is and still contributing, he's obviously doing something right, and he's still delivering. There's something that we've got that is not working right. So, like, and I think it really brings out like the type of offensive lineman that we need. And Andrew Whitworth is a big nasty guy. Let's be honest. Like he is a mauler of an O line, even though he plays tackle. But if he was like for the guy his size and the way how brittle he is, he could easily be the exact same high caliber playing in the guard position easily.
So here's a question for you, but because we're coming up to an hour and we'll wrap it up. Who is
we haven't even talked about the defense yet.
It's just a general rant. Talk about anything. But I was going to say, who is your free agent priority that you're on this team?
Randy Red.
Randy.
Yep.
Like we need help with the edge as much as possible. Like from what Randy has delivered for his first full on season, first off season as a Cowboy. Let's remember he got drafted. Was it in 2015? He got drafted, or was it?
Yeah, I believe.
Yeah,
I believe so.
Right, and he's still technically on his rookie contract because of the years.
Correct.
He's missed out. Right, and this is his actual first full-on preseason, full-on like season playoffs, the whole shebang, without no interruptions, no suspensions, no Roger Goodell interfering, blah 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 blah. And we saw what Randy can do when he's fully focused. Give the guy a chance, and we've stopped buying for all this time anyway. There is that investment we've put into Randy, and I don't see why not. We would not want to bring him back anyway. So that's my point. Like across for us to getting Randy back, I would definitely take him back in a heartbeat.
Okay, here's one which I'm going to check to Graham because he likes safety talk. Who would you prioritize over these? Dalton Schultz or Jaron Kearse?
Oh,
you can only have one or the other.
Can I ask a qualifying question first?
It depends. I may not answer it.
Yeah.
who's our DC?
Are you giving me Kazee? Is Kazee re-signed?
Is Kazee staying? Yeah.
Kazee's staying. I'm going to go tight end over that one.
You're going to pick Schultz, yeah? Interesting.
I'd still pick Kearse, to be honest, because there could be because the reason why I say that, there could be one of those diamond in the rough tight ends in the draft again, or it could be a free agent.
He's a good one.
Oh,
I don't think so.
That's something that we haven't thought about. When the last time we did the franchise, I was on Dak, and
there's nobody really who. I mean, maybe if Randy Gregory's playing hardball, if he's playing hardball.
I don't think they could afford the franchise tag, to be perfectly honest.
No.
Yeah.
Like Hooker doesn't, like, if you're like, well, let's just say we had the money to do the franchise tag. I'm trying to think of all the players that could earn that, but I don't think they would. So like, the players like Hooker, Kearse, Randy Gregory, all these players coming off a contract, Gallup, for example, all these type of players. I wouldn't really say like you could really want to slam all that money in a franchise tag on. Oh,
I mean, I don't know.
That'll be too expensive.
No,
very much.
They'll take him.
Yeah, your O-line's got to come up through the draft.
I know.
Yeah.
I can see.
It does. You got no choice.
I don't know what. I don't know what it is, but I don't know what the Bengals salary cap is, but I can see Armstead going to the Bengals to give Joe Burrow more protection. If I'm being honest, like as you know, it's one of those scenarios where you can actually see the fit, and like you can just like if that's one player I can see going somewhere, it's that. I can see Armstead going. I can see Armstead going to the Bengals.
Yeah.
I think the Saints not got an awful lot of cap room.
You're asking the wrong guy about cap. When it comes to cap, I don't really dabble in that. But
well, Lauren's the man.
The Bengals have got 42 million effective cap space this year.
Yeah.
Where
they could do it then.
Paul, I take that all back. Right now, the Saints are 73 million over.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Ooh. How?
Yep.
How are they?
But their season's over, and it goes like that when it's all finished. But here's one though to ask you guys: would you re-sign? Obviously, the price is right, but would you re-sign Leighton Vander Esch after what he did over the last few games?
Yeah, I would.
If the price is right.
Yeah,
the price is right. And when you think of the linebacker position we've got,
I wouldn't compete to keep him though. I wouldn't compete to keep him, but we're a wee bit thin at linebacker at the moment when you think about it. Now,
because we're not bringing Neil back. Are you guys happy to not bring Neil back?
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to Neil's counting 2 million on our dead cap this year because he's got 2 voidable years at £1 million each, and those unless we re-sign them this year, they automatically accelerate into our cap this year. Other than that, I mean, Bernard I think is a free agent. Van Der Esch is a free agent. Who else do we have as at linebacker at the moment? We've got Parsons.
Parsons, and then if you bring Leighton Vander Esch back, and Luke Gifford, I think he's staying in.
Yeah,
he's a free agent as well.
Oh, is he? There you go then.
Yeah. Yep. So we need to do something at linebacker, but at the moment,
4 linebackers hitting free agency.
Yep.
Because Neil, I'm not bringing Neil back. He looked promising to begin with, and I think he just struggled to get things moving. And then Leighton Vander Esch, in the back half of the season, certainly turned it on. He seemed to find his rhythm, didn't he?
According to Over the Cap, Neil only played half the snaps.
I know he dabbled with COVID a few times, didn't he?
On this list, there are 5 players that played over 50%. That was Vander Esch, Williams, Kers, Schultz, and and Kazee.
Yeah. So. Would you bring Malik Hooker back?
Yeah,
nah.
I would.
I think I will, because he's that centre fielder that can come in handy.
Like I feel
depends for how much.
I think I mean, I think for depends how much, but I think he was actually starting to kind of build up his momentum the more games he was getting in. I felt
a little bit. He was starting to get into a rhythm again. Yeah.
And also we've got don't forget we've got Jabril Cox coming back as well.
Jabril Cox, that's good news. Because there was another guy who was starting to get a stride going.
Yeah.
I think we missed him quite a bit. Like at the time when he got injured, I was like, oh no. And then as the season went on, I was like, oh, this is getting even worse. We need him back.
No, Mark, you've not missed it. We're still here, so get your Swanlings in.
Get it in.
Let it out, man. Let it out.
Group therapy.
Can I move the rant in a slightly different position?
Of course you can. It's a rant. You rant anyway.
When is Jerry going to buy some blinds?
That is a great one. Like how many years have we seen where it's depending on who where the offense is facing, it's killing.
It's a $2 billion with a $2 billion stadium. Get some blinds up, Jerry.
Or just give the stadium a nice pair of sunglasses.
I mean, for anybody watching the Sky coverage, it was a little bit embarrassing.
It was.
Because they even built the stadium east to west.
I know, which is the bit I never get. I do get the reason why, but yeah, you'd think that they would do it north-south.
I mean, I get it. Fair enough. If you want to make insides brighter, or if there's something to do with the building code that it has to be a certain light, but see when you've got Cowboys players at home who can't see the ball, that's an issue. That's an issue for me.
Apparently they've got blinds.
They do. The whole thing, because this happened a few years back when Garrett was coach, and it
With
obviously led to it led to the old the sun's been coming up for 5 billion years, and it will come up for another 5 billion years. So they do have the blinds, but they obviously to close the blinds, that then limits the number of people that come in and out all at once or whatever. And you saw John Machota's tweet where everybody piling in at the start of the game. So you've got to,
you weigh that up. Say somebody doesn't make a reception that possibly keeps us in the playoffs, but hey, we got 100,000 people in the stadium. There needs to be a line somewhere.
Just to go to Andy's point, to hit that video board, you have got to belt that ball.
Yep.
The fact that Anger hit the board is more impressive than the fact that you think the TV that's hanging from that stadium is so low.
Don't forget.
It's a hell of a punch to hit that.
Don't forget, years ago, the video board it did get raised up.
It got raised, yeah.
Yep.
Right, and that says it all. But here's my thing about the whole windows and the stadium. Why couldn't they just get actual, like, rather than blinds, is get the window coverings, like outside,
like blackout thing, like mirrors,
one side blackout, the outside you'll still have the shiny window.
So it's like a pair of sunglasses.
Or what do you call it? What's that fucking type of glass that you can see one side?
Like tinted one-way mirror stuff.
Aye, and nothing can come in.
So
tint the windows.
There you go. Exactly what we said.
yeah. Like that would, and plus it would actually look a lot cooler if I'm being perfectly honest.
Yeah, when you're driving down that highway, but when you say it happens once, you go, okay, yeah.
But then it has to be during that particular moment when when it's a playoff game. But the problem is it's winter sun. It always seems to be,
so it's low.
Winter. It's always in the winter. It always has this problem.
Because it's nice and low and it hangs there, doesn't it?
I've also heard that if you hit the scoreboard, it's not a great punt because it's going so far up in the air that it's not. Going down.
You've still got to really, really belt that ball to be able to. There aren't many people on this planet that would be able to strike that.
Well, you think about it, Graham. See if you're punting it from your own half, like say the 20-yard line,
and you're trying to get distance on it.
You're not going to get it up as high. You try to get more distance on it, but the more further down the field, you need to get more height, so you get more time for your receivers to get in position. Close down the guys
trying to coffin kick it, basically.
Yeah, so you try to like really drag it up in the air as much as you can, essentially. Yeah.
You're going for your hang time.
Yes,
we have.
Yes, we have. I've been to AT&T. How many times now? That's been Jacksonville, Eagles, Chargers, Raiders. So 4 times. I've been 4 times.
And here's a fact for you, Christopher: the Cowboys have never lost at home when the UK Cowboys flag has been there.
Oh, don't you put that blame on me, Mike?
No. Yeah, you didn't have the flag. The flag has yet to see a losing game at AT&T.
AT&T, true, but it has lost at an away
on
games.
The road.
Yes.
Yeah. But we don't care that happened because the flag's home. Do you remember we told Heckman? Heckman was like, hang that thing from the ceiling then. It's like, if it's never seen a loss, hang it up. It's an omen. And we're like, mate, it's had an article written about it.
There you go. We need to send Lloyd the flag.
Yeah, you can hang it up there. But yes. So what we'll do, when we've seen Christopher's barbecue, it was.
Yeah, that looked tremendous, my friend. Like, so,
Yeah.
As you guys may know, we had our tailgate party before the playoff game, and Chris joined in the call, and he really lived up to the expectations of how you barbecue and how you tailgate.
Dallas barbecue, Texas barbecue.
And needless to say, all of our mouths were watering in pure sheer jealousy. So we were.
It's all right. So you know as well, Big Wheeler's offered as well to barbecue for us. He said barbecue, cigar, and whiskey, and I was like, all right then, yeah, I'll go with that. And just so you know as well, Brandon has offered to take us out for moonshine when we go over next.
That's right. I remember that.
Game of pool and moonshine. So we've got quite a lot to get on with.
Oh, sorry. We need to see a lot of people when we're over.
I know. Yeah. Big game up in Ohio. That'd be a lot of fun. But we will start to wrap this up, guys. So first of all, we need to let everyone know there is, of course, the UK Cowboys Super Bowl pie. This year it's going to be hosted in Scotland, in Glasgow. Make sure, guys, you get your travel plans, your hotel book, and most importantly, make sure you get your COVID, whatever you want to call it, all in place so you're able to get in. Although, I don't know, things are on the up, so that may all change by the time we get there.
Yeah, it's promising.
It is. We'll pay the bills as well, guys. Obviously, the season is over, as you know. But that doesn't mean to say we stop. We keep going, yeah. And also, so the Cowboys Experience. If you're going to go to a game next year, make sure you book it with Cowboys Experience. They have tailgate parties, fan meets, hotels, game day tickets, and events that you won't want to miss. And make sure, of course, you use the booking code UK Cowboys. Because what happens, guys?
Oh, you get free stuff.
There we go.
Free stuff and chocolate pudding.
I'm just what. Sorry, Lloyd. I think that may have changed. I think they may have reduced the quarantine days on.
I think it might be gone completely, Neely.
I think it's down to 7 now.
Still 7 up here.
Oh, and just so you know, we actually think Big Wheels Misses can come to the UK Cowboys event.
Yep. So.
So as we say, make sure if you've vaccinated, you've got your everybody but if you're going to go to the event, make sure you got evidence of your COVID passport for your vaccination. If not, proof of that you have done a test.
Lateral flow test, and that's it.
Yeah, and you need to basically have that. There's like a code on it or whatever. But we will be there. We'll try and put some bits and pieces together. But from now, we are doing the draft show. That starts next Thursday, same time, 9 p.m. We're really going to get into it. Get some special guests. Get everybody in who wants to get involved. It's the season of hope. Christmas is not the season of hope. Draft season is the season of hope.
Yep.
But for myself, thank you as well for everybody who joined us. It's been a good rant. Get it off our chest, and we'll see you all again next week. So I'm going to let these guys sign off, and we'll see you again.
Catch you later, guys.
Yeah, catch you later. Sorry about my internet issues tonight.
See you all again.